going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
This effort, and China has big plans for this. They intend to seed their digital yuan into the global environment by giving it away to visitors at next winter's Olympics. When they arrive at the airport, they're going to get yuan digital wallets. They're going to receive digital yuan. They're going to use it throughout their visits to Beijing, and then they're going to take it back to their home countries. They see this as a huge advantage. Why? Because who controls the underlying protocols, who controls the underlying standards of the future of money will control the future of money.
I know, but I keep thinking about Gary Gensler basically just saying, the chairman, that they create Dogecoin every day because we don't know how many shares there are of Dogecoin, so to speak. These are all going to be securities. And it's not just that Russia banning, China banning. If these are securities, we're going to find out things about them that are going to just get our heads. We're going to be like Reagan, you know, the woman.
And therefore, you think this is just continuing a down?
I don't know. I still have a theory. I took out all my Bitcoin, sold that. I actually bought land. That turned out to be a good investment. I took out all that Ethereum other than the house's money. I'm willing to lose a huge amount of money in Ethereum, which I guess, obviously, I think I'm going to. I don't have any NFTs because I still believe in assets. And I don't know. I mean, look, you want an NFT? This is an Hermes tie, okay? I'm going to offer you an NFT on this tie that's more than I paid for it.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, I come back with that video just to make you think. And right now, cryptos and stocks are dumping. And guys, we know the reason why. Nobody's going to tell you the truth on television. We know the reason why. We know the Fed has to build this fourth industrial revolution. Plus, they have to end America to Babylon so China, the dragon, can rise. But a lot of people know, when is the bleeding going to stop? And basically, we're going to know this once the Fed speaks. Stocks and cryptos have been dumping without the Fed doing what? Without the Fed stop buying assets, and they haven't even raised rates. So they haven't even made the moves yet of rolling off this balance sheet and raising rates, and we've been dropping. Why are we dropping, guys? Because they're trying to price it in. They do this all the time. We already know this. So this year will be a roller coaster ride, but it's the most manipulated market in history. So we know which way the market is going, just off the indicators and what the Fed decides to do. We know they have to raise interest rates to control inflation and then plus roll off this balance sheet. But we know it's going to be controlled collapse of the global economy. So Bitcoin, robots, algorithms, and drones can rise to take over the economy while the sheep go into the metaverse. And you're not going to get that on television. You're only going to get this from Crypto Teacher. Why? Because it gives you the truth. Nothing but the truth. Yes, the truth hurts, but what does it do? It sets you free. You have a wonderful day.
And a dire warning now from Jeremy Grantham, the notable investor, saying that the U.S. is near the end of a super bubble across multiple asset classes following the massive stimulus during the pandemic. He says the S&P 500 could tank 45% once pessimism returns to rule. Now, in that paper, Grantham says we are in what I think of as a vampire phase of the bull market, where you throw everything you have at it. You stab it with COVID, you shoot it with the end of QE, and you poison it with unexpected inflation, and still the creature flies. That is, until, just as you're beginning to think the thing is completely immortal, it finally, and perhaps a little anticlimactically, keels over and dies. The sooner, the better for everyone. So I don't know if I don't know if you think 45%, guys, is in the cards or not. It is a pretty dire warning. I can't figure out if this is like we're just going to have a correction, a sort of extra correction, or this becomes a deep malaise.
I mean, you've been following Grantham for years, right? I mean,
yes.
We have been talking about this already with Max, I know the producer, but I have a lot of empathy for everything he just said, and we have stated it hundreds of times on this show. Add it up: NFTs, meme stocks, FANG stocks, real estate, the NASDAQ.
Yep.
Just add it up. Add it up where everything is. It was insane. There's no doubt. The art world, so I have a lot of empathy for what he's saying. But my question is, for Jeremy Grantham, if it does go down 45%, are you still above where he started saying it was going to go down 45%? Because I think you are. Because I think he's been saying this for that long. So I still don't think it will get him to the point where he's been singing this to. I mean, sooner or later, we're all going to die. I can tell you that. It's most likely going to happen. Sooner or later, he's going to be right.
Using the broken clock.
No, but it's
let's
just
take Grantham out of it.
Right, okay, but that's who we're talking about. That's who we're talking about. That's my only point. That's my only point. It's been a long time. If it finally happens, okay, great, Jeremy, you were right.
Look, there's a lot of doomsdayers who eventually become right.
Right.
Putting that aside, the question that I've been trying to grapple with, and I've been talking to a lot of investors over the past 24, 48 hours about this, is now that we're moving, as we move into this sort of correction territory, are we back to 2000? Is this 2001? Are we having that? Does it tip over to something worse than that? Is it less than that? What are we really talking about here?
Don't you think that...
There's a whole lot of people who think things are overvalued, but nobody's
even
going
worse
to time it or call it.
Yeah, even worse than the internet tech bubble, because it's everywhere.
Well, and that's the question.
And look at the amount of stimulus wasn't the same back then either. It was almost a different dynamic, which got us so high back then. It wasn't really the Fed and central banks around the world which got us there. But it's scary when you think that the amount of wealth that anyone in the stock market that you've accrued in recent years, a lot of that could go away, and people will feel a lot poorer. That could be a rude awakening, and there have been multi-year periods in the past where that's happened, like the early 70s. And
except there's a lot of liquidity,
are terrible.
A lot of liquidity still on the sidelines, and so that's a little bit different, I think, in terms of how you think about the dynamics compared to other crises.
The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids' books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.